Romy Nelson with some tips for prepping food for the week to make your life easy. Whether you travel or you're at the home every night after work, you still don't want to be cooking your food during the week. So we're going to talk a little bit about whole food and not whole food. We can't eat perfect all the time. But examples of some whole food things that I have ready for the week, I buy apples and things that are not exactly whole food but still healthy. I like to put better than peanut butter or sun nut butter on my apples just to dip them, and I'll cut them up the night before and I'll put them actually in a container with the nut butter just to make it easy when I'm super busy at work. I can just grab a fork and eat it. Another example of something that's not exactly whole food is your protein shake. So over here I've got the Metrics 100% all natural whey, and then I've been trying, this is a plant-based protein. It's called Love Peas by Nature Sunshine, and it's pretty tasty. So I just put that with almond milk and some greens, and that's again something grab and go. It's not whole food, we can't eat perfect all the time, but we can still eat pretty healthy. So examples of some things that would be whole food is, this is my egg casserole, and I'm gonna go ahead and set a link to the recipe here under this video, but this is simply just eggs. And then I cut up some mushrooms, I put in some salsa. You can do it different every week, put in some cheese. But you're using basically whole foods, although cheese is a little processed, of course, but you're putting whole foods in to make something that is pretty much whole food. Whole food's anything your ancestors could have gotten a hold of thousands of years ago. Also, I've always got my veggies on hand. I like to make things easy, so I do buy the pre-washed bagged vegetables most weeks. Sometimes I don't, but here you've got, it's whole food. It doesn't have anything in it that's not natural. There is some dressing and some nuts. The dressing is processed. I don't typically consume that, but all else that's in here is just the raw veggies. Some examples of some stuff again that is processed that I would eat, and I do most weeks, is this is Applegate Farms. They have nitrate-free, antibiotic-free, hormone-free deli meats, and so those are the only kinds of meats that I do recommend that are processed and then nitrate-free. And although I try to keep my carbs on the lower side, generally, if you're an athlete though and you work out, you don't have to eat extremely low carb, but I do like some gluten-free bread sometimes. I'll put this with some mustard and some sliced up cucumbers and make sandwiches again for on the go. It's just very, very convenient. Here's one of my favorite protein bars, so I always make sure I have these with me. FitJoy. It's really low in sugar. It only has 5 grams of sugar and 20 grams of protein. I also baked these muffins this week. These are actually muffins that are grain-free, so they are processed because they're not whole food, but they're made with coconut oil, coconut flour. I do use little dark chocolate chips in there. And it does have a little bit of grade A maple syrup to sweeten it. So that's kind of just to give you an example. Some cod, lastly, I did this with just a little bit of rub, and on some of them I put on some of the gluten-free breadcrumbs, so that would be processed, but the one that is left with just seasoning is not processed. I just simply baked it in the oven. And when you buy fish, make sure to buy a wild caught fish when possible. And that's it for food prep for your week.